Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's session, we'll understand all the Git Advanced concepts in very detail.
So yeah, a quick recap on the things that we discussed yesterday, and then we'll move on to the other concepts now. Okay, so yesterday we were able to create a repository in the GitHub, and we were able to set up our Git version controls, Git CLI from our system, and then we cloned that repo. We made some changes, we add some files there, we committed them, and then we were able to push those changes onto the remote, as well as we were able to create a feature branch, right? Yesterday we did that, and once the feature branches changes were done, then we were able to merge it back onto the main locally. And as well as if you wanted to merge it from the GitHub, then we create a pull request there, right? And once the PR is reviewed, pull request is also called PR sometimes. So once the PR is reviewed by your co-developers, and then if everything is fine, then you're able to merge that into the main branch, right? So these are all the steps which were yesterday happened, right? And also we were able to set up SSH connectivity to make passwordless authentication every time while pushing the changes. So if you don't do that, it will ask you for password every time. You need to authenticate whenever you make a git push call to the remote repository. So that's why we generated SSH keygen. We added that public key in the GitHub, and then we were able to push those changes. Correct? That's what we did, right?
Yes, Vijay.
Right. So now in today's session, we will be discussing little more bit advanced commands related to Git. So whatever the things which we discussed, pretty much 80 to 90% we use in real time. All those commands, yesterday's commands, we'll be using it. But other than that, there are some other commands. Those are really important even in the interview standpoint. So like Git Rebase, cherry pick, stash, and all those. And we will also understand about different branching strategies, pull request process. Yesterday of course we discussed it, but I'll reiterate some of the concepts there, and code reviews, hotfix handling, and hooks, and GitHub workflows. Okay, so this we will be talking it today. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll go open the VS Code. So of course yesterday whatever the commands we executed from the CLI, those you need to remember it, but VS Code actually helps you to do pretty much easier than remembering these commands. Okay, so if you have a VS Code set up on your system, and then you initialize a Git repository on the folder that you are working on, then we basically VS Code able to track all your changes. Okay, so what I mean is, let's say now I have yesterday's folder DevOps crash course. In day 1 yesterday we discussed all those concepts, and now in day 2 today's session I'm writing some content here in the Git Advanced.txt. Okay, so let's say if I write something here, okay, some gibberish, um, then you can see that on the left side it was able to detect some changes, right? So it is saying that there are some changes inside the changes tab. You can see here, and the file m, it denotes actually that the file has been modified. Okay, so if you are creating a new file for the first time, then Git will not know what that file is. Then it will show you u means untracked file. Okay, but now it is already there, and it is showing as modified. If you wanted to add, then you click on plus symbol. Okay, plus symbol is similarly equal to git add dot git add, okay, kind of git add, and the file name. Okay, so the pretty much same whatever now you are doing it with the command change directory to day 02. Second.
Session is recorded, right? Vijay?
Yes, of course it's getting
Okay.
recorded. So cd to day 02 and do git add, and then what is that, the file name git advanced. So pretty much whatever you do this command, which is exactly equivalent to clicking on this plus symbol. Okay, from the VS Code, that's very simple. If you just click on that, then the file has been added to the staged area. Now you can see that staged changes. Yesterday I told you, whenever you do add you issue an add command, then the file changes will be going into a area called staging area, right? Now you can see that the file has been added to the staging area. If you wanted to revert back, then you can press minus symbol here, so that it will again come out of that staged area. But now if you wanted to commit this change, right, So just executing the command git commit -m and some content, right, which is exactly equal to, just if you mention the commit here and press commit here, then same as executing this command. Okay, so let's say some gibberish. Okay, some content I'm just entering it and just press commit, which is exactly equal to executing the same commit message. Okay, and now when I do git push command, right, once we commit, then we will be pushing that to the main, right, git push, which is exactly equal to sync changes. So that means if you press this button, it will actually pushes your changes onto the remote repository. So what happens is this sync will actually perform pull first from the remote repository, and then it will able to push those changes onto the upstream. Okay, we can see also down there is a down arrow as well as up arrow right here. So what it does is it will first of all pull all the changes from the remote repository, and then it will able to push those changes onto the main. Okay, just to avoid any kind of conflicts. Okay, so now if I do sync changes, and now you can see that this action will pull and push the commits from origin main, of course. Okay, let me do okay. Then what it happens is the changes which we added now will be able to push onto the remote main branch. Okay, so let's see that in action. Now I think that is done. Now you can see that there were no other messages here. So if you go back to our repositories and go to the git concepts, the same one, and now you can see that day 02 with some gibberish. So you can see that some gibberish content was added. So pretty much simple. If you are using a VS Code in real time, developers basically use a VS Code, but behind the scene they execute these commands. Okay, always make sure you understand these commands. Okay, so you by heart these commands or whatever you do, just remember these commands: git push, pull, add, and all those commands, which is pretty much exactly equal to doing it from here. Okay, clear, right?
Yesterday, I faced an issue. Like when you are pushing a code, where you are pushing?
We are
Like
pushing onto the remote repository.
remote where? Like origin or into which branch or something?
Right, now you can see here down main branch. Right now it is already targeted as main, right? If you wanted to push it to some other branch, you create a new branch and push those changes.
Okay,
From
but we can go through CLI, right? Like
yeah, of course.
create a branch and after
Git
that
remote
come
hyphen
build.
v. Yes. If you see git
Okay,
remote
what is
hyphen.
this? Can you explain this? Fetch and push. What is that?
So
Origin.
yes, so git remote hyphen v, what happens is it will show you what is your exact remote repository that you are pushing. Remote in the sense your target repository in the GitHub. Okay, so origin, it gives you two types. One is fetch and push. That means fetch will basically pull all the changes from your remote repository onto your local repository. Okay, push will actually does is it will be able to push the changes, which is exactly pretty much similar to your pull and push. Okay, so once you link the remote is nothing but your target remote repository on the GitHub, then what it happens is it will able to first of all pull the changes, then it will also able to push the changes. That's what the sync button is. I have showed you 2 minutes back, right? The sync will do
Okay.
pull and
So,
push.
so yesterday you have said only one URL in that way you are saying, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, once you do HTTPS clone, right, what happens is git remote hyphen v shows the HTTPS origin, but we wanted to have an SSH based connection, right? So that's why what we did is yesterday git set URL remote origin, and then our SSH, what is that, the URL that we pasted, right?
URL.
Yes, that was yesterday's command we issued. Once we issue that command, then if you execute remote hyphen v, it will show you these origins here. Okay, got the idea,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, bit.
Uh-huh. Okay. No, no. If you have any clear question, if you wanted to still understand more, I can explain you, because this is important. Origin is nothing but you are referring to the remote origin. So it can be any name. Okay, you can remove, you can update it with practice, or you can update it with your own name. The origin can be anything. Okay, so we can set anything, but by default, Git uses the name called as origin. Origin in the sense that is where the origin. So you call sometimes origin. This is from the beginning, or this is the
Hmm.
point, right? So GitHub treats that your repository as a origin. Okay, your remote repository, this one. Okay, this origin you are pulling it and pushing it. That's what git remote hyphen v shows. Clear? Now we will understand about rebase command. Okay, so first of all, what in order to merge the changes, yesterday we have created our own feature branch. We were able to check out to that branch, and then we did a merge, right? So merging can be performed in different ways. Okay, merge can be performed using a merge command, or merge can be performed using a rebase command, and you can also use a squash command. So these are all different types where you can perform merge operations. Okay, so
Vijay,
yes.
Vijay, one more thing. So for the advanced concepts, we will continuously use this VS Code in this class.
Not really required. You can actually execute those commands. See, there are some commands which will not be supported from VS Code, like cherry pick. Okay, there will not be a
Okay,
direct cherry pick command in the VS Code,
okay,
but
okay,
all the push commands, pull commands, and creating branches, creating PRs from the adding an external extensions, that can be possible. But some commands you have to execute it manually. Always make sure you remember those commands, because in the interviews also they'll ask you which command you use for rebasing, which command you use for cherry picking. So that,
okay. So this will not work in the Git Bash.
yeah, this will work in the Git Bash. Now we are using Git Bash only. This is the terminal of Git Bash only. Okay.
Okay, okay. Because I haven't used VS Code. Okay,
Yeah, it
so I
doesn't
don't
matter.
have any experience. So that
VS
is why I'm so pretty much
No, VS Code is
over.
not mandatory to use it. I mean, VS Code makes your life easier. Okay, just instead of
Yes.
executing the commands, you just click on that buttons, which will do that activity. But in knowing the commands is most important than clicking that buttons.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
so if you wanted to play around with VS Code, you set up that and add those as a Git repository and perform it. But I suggest initial days, in the at least for, once you have become master of it, until that time you execute the commands only. Okay, once you are really master about it, then you can do these operations. Okay,
Okay.
so now what I'm saying is merging can be possible in different ways. One is with a rebase, one is with a merge command, and all this basically does is takes all the changes from one branch and applies on top of the other branch, right? So what rebase does is it takes all the commits from one branch and applies on tip of another branch. So that way it creates a linear history of commits. Yes. And your commit history looks very cleaner. Okay, so imagine so what it does is it takes all the commits from one branch and applies on top of the other branch with the rebase. Okay, so example is, let's say you have a branch which has commits A, B, C. Okay, so this is a main branch. Think of it like as a main branch. Okay, so you have 3 commits in this main branch, and you created your feature branch, uh, and you made some commits D and E. Okay, so you did a branch cut at this location B, and then so for example D and E, you did a branch cut at C, C commit, right? And then you have some changes in the feature branch with D, E, F, right? D, E, F. Okay, now what happens is, if you do git checkout to feature branch and then git rebase with main, so what happens is it takes all changes from feature and applies on top of main branch. So rebase will rewrites all the history. Okay, so imagine whenever you're dealing with different commits, right? Every commit has a commit ID. Yesterday I have showed you by using git log command, right? So every commit will have a different commit IDs. D will have a different commit ID, C will have a different commit ID, F will have a different commit ID. So now what happens is, whenever you do git rebase main, that means you are actually rebasing with main branch the changes you are taking from your feature branch, def, all the changes you are taking it and adding to the tip of the main branch. Tip is nothing but the last commit of the main branch. So in our case, C will be the last commit. So all the future branch changes you are taking from here and keeping it on top of the main branch. So the final result will look like this. Your main branch will look A, B, C, D, E, F. So it creates a linear history. Okay, so looks pretty much clear with all the commit changes here in a single line. Okay, instead of having multiple kind of graphs where you can see in feature branch, right? So it all takes all the changes and put it on top of the main. Okay, but what happens is it rewrites the history. That means the commit ID which got generated at DEF in the feature branch will be automatically changed once it was rebased. That means this DEF commit IDs are different than this DEF commit IDs, because you are adding all these changes and keeping on top of this. This will be overwritten, so it automatically removes all the data from here, and then the changes will be there in the main branch, but only the problem is the commit IDs will be different. Okay, so that's what the git rebase does. Okay, so I will show you diagrammatically with an explanation how rebase works, but yeah, just for now remember always this takes the changes and then pushes on top of the tip of the main branch. Okay, so in the interviews also they will ask you what actually git rebase does. Okay, so two branches you take all the changes from the one branch and apply on top of the other branch. Okay, that's what the rebase, right? Now cherry pick. So this is most important concept again. So it's a way of picking changes from one branch and applying that change onto another branch. Okay, so you take a single commit, you take a commit ID and apply on another branch. Okay, so imagine a scenario. We have a main branch, right? You have A, B and C commits in it. And you have a feature branch. You have D commit, E commit and then F commit and G commit. Okay, so ABC is the main branch, feature branch is DEF, some other commits were there in the feature branch. Now if you merge everything from feature branch to main branch, all the commits will be takes place, right? All the commits will be taken and put it on top of main. But I don't want like that. I wanted to take only a specific commit. Okay, let's say for example I wanted to take F commit or a G commit data or maybe E commit data. What I can do is I can specifically cherry pick. That means choosing one of the commit and applying on top of my main branch. Okay, so that way I will get whatever the required commits for our use case. Okay, so whichever the one which you wanted, you can just cherry pick it. That means you're picking one commit from a bunch of feature branch commits. Okay, so main will become A, B, C and then for example F. Okay, if I like F commit change, then I can just do cherry pick, then it actually takes that commit and applies on top of our main branch. So you have to execute the command called git cherry pick with commit ID. Commit ID 1, commit ID 2, you can take a number of commits. So whichever the commit ID you wanted, you can take that. Okay, so that's how the cherry picking works. You are taking one commit and if you just merge it, it will merge all the changes, but I don't want all the changes. I want only a single change, then cherry pick will be helpful. So in real time, the best example, the scenario is like, let's say you have a hotfix branch where you merged, you fixed some changes, right? And that change wanted to go immediately onto the production because the production has some issues, and you created a hotfix branch and you made some changes. I don't want all the changes of hotfix branch, but only the specific code base I want, a specific commit code base I want. Then you do a git cherry pick, basically picking a specific commit or the data of the code and then applying on top of your production, which will fix your issue immediately. Okay, that is the use case of cherry pick. Clear?
Vijay, yes, Vijay. Vijay, can you please repeat this statement?
Yes. So in
The
real,
one which you said, yes.
yes,
Mm,
in real time,
please.
what happens is, let's say for example, you have a main code base, right, which is your production code. Production code has some issues. Okay, so there is some problem which happened, and what developers will do is they will immediately create one branch and they try to fix the changes in that branch. Okay, for example, hotfix branch. Okay, so the hotfix branch is immediate emergency fixes that you will apply. So and they were able to work on that and they were able to fix that issue also. Okay, once they have the changes, we don't need to apply completely git merge with that particular hotfix branch. We don't want everything to be merged. We wanted only specific part of the commit that we wanted to take, right? So in that case, I will take one commit id and then apply on top of our production code, so that the issue will be resolved very fast, because we are cherry picking, we are taking only one specific commit and applying on top of our main branch or our production code, right? So that's why specifically you're picking, let's say if I have 5 balls, if I wanted to choose a red ball, I don't want it to take all 5 balls into my bucket. I can specifically pick one ball from the red, from that bucket, and then put it in my bucket. So that way it is very much clear, right? So you understand that you're picking one kind of commit and then applying on top of your main branch. That is called cherry pick. Clear?
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Now rebase, cherry pick, we understood. Then we will also do squash. Okay, so we'll understand about squash. Squash is a way of storing your changes, temporarily, and working around other branches, and later you come back and apply your stash changes. Okay, so this is what usually even in real time we does a lot, because let's say if you are working on a main branch. Okay, so if you are working on a feature branch, feature A. Okay, feature 1 branch which has some commits, some changes. Okay, like for example some code change, you can add this file. Okay, add this data using git add command. Now immediately you realize that there is some other feature 2 branch which you also want to work immediately. So what happens is, in order to move from feature 1 to feature 2 branch, you must commit the changes first. In feature 1, then you can execute checkout command to feature 2. Okay, this is what we usually do, but now we don't want it to commit those changes. We were working on some changes in the feature 1 branch, but we realized that some important work, other work is came, and we wanted to work on a feature 2 immediately. So in that case, what we can do is we can squash it. So this will store the change temporarily without committing, and allows you to move to other branch. Okay, So if you do git squash command, what happens is it will temporarily stores all your changes, and then you can able to perform git checkout. Otherwise, if you without committing the changes, if you try to do git checkout, it will throw you an error that you need to store your changes temporarily by using git squash command. Okay, so let's say once you squashed your changes of feature 1, then you went into the feature 2, you worked on all your changes, and then again you came back to the feature 1. Then if you wanted to rework on the previous changes, right, what you can do is git squash apply. Okay, so this will now adds this now commits the previous changes to commit area. Okay, or if you don't want those changes, you can also execute command to git squash pop. So this pops out changes. Later you can manually add them using git add command. Okay, so yeah, we will see that in action, but just understand that squash is nothing but temporarily uh, storing some changes and then coming back and applying it back. Okay, so for example, I consider a real use case that if I'm working right now I'm teaching you the class, right? So what I can do is, if suddenly my mom calls, if that is emergency, I have to immediately go out, right? So in that case, what I can do is I can temporarily save the changes on the file, and then I can immediately go there, finish that work, and then come back and then restart my work, right? So that is what the squash is doing. It will squash, temporarily store the changes. Once you work on the other branch, fix there and come back, then you can apply those same changes, so the changes will not be lost. Okay, got the idea, right? That's what the squash will does. Okay, so now let's take an example or understand in detail about rebase, cherry pick, and squash. Okay, so for example, there is also one more command we can use, git merge, right? Yesterday we discussed already, taking changes from one branch and applying on other without losing any commit history. Okay, so rebase will overwrite the history or rewrite the history, but merge will not rewrite the history. It will keep track of all the commit history. Example is, let's say you're working on a main branch, you have commits A, commit B, and commit C. Okay, and you have a feature branch then it got some commits D.
The video is getting struck, I guess. Is your internet strength is good or my internet is getting bad?
Anas, you are also facing the same?
Yes, Vijay. Your voice is breaking in between.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, sir, now you are clear,
Okay.
but somewhere, yes,
Okay.
it is fine now.
Okay. Alright, so this merge will, what it will do is, it will take the changes from one branch and applies on top of the other branch without losing any commit history by creating a new commit. Okay, so what happens is, once you do git merge feature, now the main branch will have A, B, C along with your G. Okay, so this is the new commit which gets added. So that means it's like merging two branches at one point. Okay, so you usually see railway tracks where two railway tracks will go together parallelly and they will merge at certain point, right? So that is called a point of merge. Okay, so both branches are merging at certain point and it creates a new commit which is called G. Okay, and also it has all the commit details related to DEF as well. So that means it is preserving all the commit data and then creating a new commit. Okay, so that is called intersection point, we usually call, right? So those both two are intersecting at one point, so that all the history will be preserved. Okay, that is what the merging. Okay, now if you take a graphical representation and understand clearly, so if you do git rebase versus merge versus squash, okay, take one image here and understand here from here. Okay, now let's see master branch from after normal merge. You have some changes in A, B, C, right, in the master main branch, and you did a branch cut here. That means you created your own branch and you made some more changes here, F1, F2. Meanwhile, your main branch also had some more commits, M1, M2. So once you do merge, what happens is it will do a normal merge, and then it will create a kind of new merge commit. Okay, so that is what we have seen as a merge process. But in the case of rebase, it will create some kind of a flexible linear representation. Now you can see A, B, C, M1, M2, and it adds to the tip of the main branch, F1, F2. So this is a linear way, right? And squash is nothing but you are temporarily storing some changes, and you will be coming back and later looking at that. Clear? Any more questions? Yeah, now you can see here also one example. The original branch
Vijay,
is, yes.
Vijay, I'm still confused with the rebase. For a squash, I'm clear.
Okay.
For the rebase, I'm still not clear with these examples.
Yes, rebase is nothing but adding all the changes to the tip of your main branch. Okay, so that means
Tip
uh,
means top of the branch or what it is?
tip means the latest commit, the last commit of your
The
branch.
updated one.
Right, the last commit. Wait, let me show you a good representation then. See, now,
Can you explain in terms of the text or some kind of statement?
right, yeah, now you can see this in this diagram. Okay, A,
Mhm.
B, C, D are the commits of main branch. Okay, clear? A, B, C, D
Mhm.
are the commits of main branch. At the point of B commit, we have decided we did a branch cut. That means we created our own branch, and that branch also has commits like E, F, and G. Okay.
Mm.
So now what happens is when you do git rebase, okay. So the pointer which was pointing to previously the commit of B, right? From here only we did a branch cut, right? But
Mhm.
now it removes that, like it overwrites the data, and this links to the latest commit. Latest commit in the sense, in our case, D is the latest commit in the main branch, right? So now it takes all the changes from here and add it to the tip of the tip, in the sense this D, right? So it takes all this from here and put it here, so that it is a linear way. Instead of having like this, you are going in a straight path. Clear? Here you can also see another example. A,
Mm.
B, C, D, E. Before rebase. Before rebase, what is happening? From the A branch, from the A commit, you branched it. You made some changes in your feature branch by using D and E commits. In the main branch also, you has B and C. So that are the other commits, right?
Mhm.
After rebase, what it is doing, it is not no longer pointing to A. So that means previously it was linked at A, but
After
now
rebase.
after
Okay.
rebase, now it was linked to DE. The DE was linked to the top of the main branch, top of the or tip of the main branch, which is
Okay.
C is the tip. Now you can see these two will be taken from here and put it on top of C. That means you will have a linear path, A, B, C, D, E. This is a rebase pattern. Okay.
Okay.
So if you take any of the examples, any of the images, you will understand that clearly. Okay, so yeah, you can try
So,
looking at all
so
this.
Vijay, as far as I have understood, so the main advantage of this, we do not need to go to every commit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the advantage for this, right? For the rebase.
Yes, you don't to avoid kind of clumsiness of all the commit history.
Okay.
You are
Okay.
having a linear commit way. Okay, that means everything looks in a plain structure. That means you, if somebody sees your commit history, what they will think is, oh, these features were directly developed in the main branch, but actually they're developed in the feature branch, right? Even though they're developed in the feature branch, they were merged back onto the main in a clear cut straight way. Okay, no more deviations anywhere. Clear?
Okay.
That is what the merge. So but in the case of merge, if you see, ABC, DEF here, ABC DEF, but it has merged. So two branches were merged at some certain point that created a new merge commit, right? So this is a merge commit. Merge command will do. Rebase command will do a linear path. Squash will do is temporarily store those changes into another area. Okay. So this website will actually helps you to do kind of you can perform all these activities. Okay, so you can do some kind of merging, you can do some kind of rebasing, committing the changes. So all this will actually give you a nice representation. Okay, so you can practice what git cherry pick is doing from here. Okay, if you execute this command, what it will do, so everything you will be understanding clearly. Just I will mention it here. Okay, so it's a free, you can practice. But you got the clarity, right? At least theoretically, did you understand that? Because if you understand the theory part, then executing that from that GUI web-based interface is pretty easy. Okay. Hello, are you there? Or disconnected?
Yes.
Okay. So
When you showed the visualization, so that is for the understanding part only, to visualize things.
yes, to understand very clearly about rebase, merge, cherry pick, all these concepts you can play in that in that portal. Just practice one by one after this session, then you will understand
Okay.
visually what it is doing. Let's see if you do rebase from
Yes,
the
sir.
right side. You can see the diagram that what it is doing from commit 1 to commit 2, where the pointer is moving. Everything you will be understanding clearly, because just I'm writing here will not make more sense, but practicing there will
Yes,
make
yes.
really more sense.
Please paste the link. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You already did.
Yes. And now we will also understand about something like branching strategies. Okay. We have GitFlow, we have trunk based, and feature branching. So this is different types of branching strategies. Okay, so in the interviews they will ask you what kind of branching strategies you guys use. Okay, so what are the different types of branching strategies? So GitFlow follows different branching strategies in the development phase. So you have branching like main branch, you have develop branch, you have feature branch, you have release branch, release slash star, feature slash star, develop slash star, and then hotfix. Okay, so this is the pattern the organizations follow for creating their branches. Okay, so what will happen is main is the production ready code, which all the production code will be present in the main branch. Develop branch is the branch where you will be integrating all your changes related to your code base. Okay, so you perform some kind of development, and this is mainly used for integration. Actually, feature branch is the one which you work on your agile tasks. Okay, for example, if you got some task to perform or write some code related to an app, right? So then you create a feature branch with your scrum related ticket id. Okay, then you work on that particular code change, and then you add those, or you add all the files, commit them, and then merge back onto the develop branch. All the future branch changes goes into develop branch, all the release branch changes goes into main and develop, and all the hotfix branch changes goes to main and develop. Okay, clearly understand that feature branch changes will go into develop branch. Okay, release branch changes will go into both of them, hotfix also will go into both of them. Okay, why? Because let's say for example feature branch you cannot directly commit onto the main, right? Because you may need to do a lot of testing if everything is good or not. But in the case of release branch, what you can do is once everything is tested thoroughly, you can merge onto the main branch, and the same copy will be put it on top of develop as well, so that the next developer who is working on that, they can pull the changes and work on extended functionality. And a hotfix is for emergency fixes, as I told you. Just if you work on some of the emergency fix and the production issue, then copy these changes and put it on main. Okay, sometimes we can pick specific commit, that is called git cherry pick, and then put it on our main branch. Okay, that is one of the branching strategy flow. And trunk based is everything is pushed into main branch. Okay, so you will not be having any other branches, you will be having only single main branch where everything will be pushed, okay, directly onto the main. So that is where your trunk, the trunk is nothing but your main branch, but there is a risky, because you need to do a lot of rigorous testing in order to push all the changes onto the main branch, but it looks very cleaner instead of having a lot of branching strategy, a lot of branches, I mean. Okay, and feature branching is you create branch based on feature you are creating. Okay, so whichever the feature you are working on, feature slash login page. Okay, so you create this feature branch, and then you work on all your changes, and then you can merge onto your main branch. Okay, so that way these are short term lived, okay, short lived branches. So you will not be keeping these branches for longer time. You will be once it is done, the work is done, we will delete that branch. Yesterday we did that, right? We were able to delete the local feature branch as well as remote feature branch. So these are the different branching strategies we usually follow in the real time. Okay, so mostly in the interviews they will ask you related to GitFlow branching strategy, what kind of different branches which exist in the GitFlow. So you tell them that main, develop, feature, release, and hotfix. Okay, next we understood about pull request, code review process. PR should be always created in order to merge the changes. Okay, you cannot directly merge change into main branch. Okay, and code review will be done from with your code developers. Okay, so developers can other your team members basically can perform review on the process, and then they can able to merge that particular changes. So either they can merge it, or maybe they can comment it also possible. Okay, comment in the sense they might say that okay, these changes looks good but still needs improvement. Then in that case you come back and rework on that particular application code base, and then you again create again you comment on that, then they will get notified. Once they feel everything is okay, they can able to merge back onto your main branch. Okay, so the code review is nothing but reviewing your code, whether every check is passed or not. Okay, so in later point of time, whenever we are discussing about GitHub Actions, we will integrate that with CI, so that the CI will take care of some kind of tests performed on the code base, and then if everything looks good, then they can able to merge it. Okay, that process we can integrate in the GitHub Actions. Okay, now we understand about hooks and workflows. Okay, so what are the hooks actually? So hooks are basically hooks used to execute local scripts based on some Git events. Okay, like there are pre-commit hook, pre-push hook, commit message hook. Okay, so these are the most commonly used hooks, okay, from Git. What it does is let's say in your local code base, open your .git folder, and inside the hooks there is a hooks folder where you can create pre-commit hook. Okay, and write some bash script here like npm test. Okay, for example. So what it happens is before even actually committing the changes, it performs this test. If everything looks good, then you can able to commit the changes. So it's a kind of security mechanism that you are keeping on developers, that they cannot directly commit whatever they wanted. Okay, you perform some kind of activity, and if that activity is succeeded, then the commit process takes place. Even in the case of pre-push also, you cannot directly push onto the remote branch in the master, or onto the GitHub. You perform some kind of validation. For example, code improvement validation. Okay, if everything code validation is successful, then only you are able to push it. Okay, if there is a bug in the code, you cannot directly push it to the main. Okay, that is also another hook. And there is a commit message hook. Okay, so this message hook, what it does is, it takes kind of a formatted way. Like for example, if you wanted to commit some message, you cannot just put some gibberish as a comment, right? Commit. So I cannot write my own commit. I can strictly state that I need only specific way of commit. Like, I mean, I wanted every commit to include my ticket ID, my ticket details. Okay, in the commit message. So that way everybody will have a clear idea what this commit message is doing. Okay, so these are the different hooks which can be part of your GitHub .git hooks folder. Okay, and workflows used mainly to perform CI/CD actions like build, test, deploy. Okay, so these workflows will execute based on push event, PR, pull request event, and then workflow dispatch, and schedule. Okay, so these are all the different workflows, because these workflows are concepts related to GitHub Actions. So whenever we are building GitHub Actions related YAML files, I will clearly mention about push pull request in detail, because now I'm just giving an overview what push and pull request does. So these are the different workflows. Whenever you do some push, it performs or triggers a workflow in the GitHub and executes some actions. Okay, or whenever you create a pull request, right, onto the main branch, against the main branch, then it performs some kind of workflow. Or you can schedule this particular job to run on a specific time. Let's say you wanted to run your test cases at midnight 2 o'clock, then you can use a scheduled job. Or if you wanted to run your CI/CD pipeline manually, then you use workflow dispatch. So these are the different kind of workflows which can be included as part of process. Clear? Any questions? Hotfix handling. You handle the hotfix changes immediately and push them to main branch. These are emergency fixes performed on your code base. Okay, branch protection rules. Okay, so in the interviews they might ask you related to what kind of branch protection rule used. Let's say if you wanted to set up a branch protection rule directly not to commit any kind of changes onto the main branch. Okay, so you can go to the settings and branches and create a rule set which will protect your branch. Okay, let's say for example, okay, now go back to your GitHub, this one GitHub. Now in the Git concepts, my main branch, now if I make any commit or any changes, I am able to push it, right? Previously I did that actually, right? I was able to put some gibberish commit, and then I was able to push these changes. But I don't want people to directly push onto my main branch. Okay, I want everybody to create their own branches. They create a PR against main branch, code review takes place and everything is okay, then only I was able to push it to the commit it to the main branch. So if everything is good, then only we can merge, otherwise we cannot merge. So no developer can be allowed to directly push onto the main branch. So how do we do that? We can execute using branch protection rules. Okay, so how do you do that? Go to the settings of your particular repository and go to the branches. You can see that here, right? So now you can see that branch protection rules, classic branch protection rules have not been configured. You can create by using a rule set. So I can add a branch rule set and I can use some demo rule. Okay, and enforcement status, yes, I wanted to be make sure that it is active. And you can bypass list, like if you wanted to bypass this particular rule to particular team or role or apps, you can still do that, but on which branches, if you wanted to protect your branch, on which branch you wanted to protect. Let's say I wanted to protect uh, by pattern, include by pattern, include all branches, include exclude by pattern. I can do anything like that, but I will use the name as main. Okay, so add include pattern. So what happens is, if somebody is trying to push some changes onto the main branch, which will not be allowed. Okay, so the rules here, you can see that what kind of rules you wanted to put on this particular main branch pushing, right? So I can do require a pull request before merging. I can select this option so that everybody has to create a pull request before they actually merge the changes. Okay, or maybe I can do some kind of restrict deletions, require deployment to succeed. So there are different options. You can see that block force pushes. Even if you are trying to push the changes forcefully, it will not be allowed, so it will be blocked automatically. You can also do required review from code owner. So if the code owner has been reviewed, then only you are able to basically push your changes onto the main. Of course, if you enable this, both cases should match. Okay, so all these are the different categories you can use it. For example, to push onto the main. Let's say for now I'm just creating this, and then we can see that in action. Okay, I will get an authenticated app. And
Regarding workflow and that GitFlow and hooks, any practicals for that, or simply you need to go through the theories?
Workflows in the sense, yeah, you can create your own workflows. We have to execute on push related commands or any kind of events that we will be seeing in the GitHub Actions, but workflows we will be touching in very detail in the GitHub Actions. But related to hooks, you can practice that. You can create .git slash hooks folder. You can use pre-commit, pre-push, those kind of commands. And what you are asking, the other thing related to
No, these are the things like what I went through is you have explained just
branching strategies. Okay, you're talking about branching strategies, right?
yeah, branching strategies and
Yeah,
other stuff.
yes. So in real time, these are the branching strategies which are involved. You can also manually create your own branches in this fashion. Whenever you're working locally, you create your branches like develop slash star, feature slash star. Slash star in the sense you can put any name here. Okay, so this is the pattern that real time it follows. Okay, so as theoretically, if you understand this, practically you can create your branches. Next time whenever we are creating a branch, you create with that particular naming convention. Okay, so there will not be any kind of way that you will see here, but only thing is you need to remember how the branching naming conventions works behind the scene. Okay, nobody will directly push everything into
No,
the main.
because if we don't do practicals, then most probably I'll forget for sure,
No,
and we will be unable to explain to a recruiter
no,
because somehow we
you
forget
have
for
to
sure.
you have to create a branch. What is there in that git branch with a develop slash? Let's say for example, if you wanted to create a branch, you create with feature, you create release, you create multiple branches. Okay, git branch, let's do git checkout hyphen b. I can do develop slash some login page. Okay, like this will actually create a branch, and then it will automatically checked into that. Then you make some changes there, merge back. So similar fashion, you create
Merge the main, right?
merge from main. You switch it to the main branch, and then you can issue a command git merge with particular develop branch. So the naming conventions here, what I'm showing you here is the main naming conventions. You in the real time they will be following it. So
Okay.
what
And
feature branch does, what release branch does, what hotfix branch does, you need to know.
okay. And hooks and workflows will be in the CI/CD, right?
Yes, hooks workflows will be in the CI/CD. Even hooks also, what you can do is you can go to the .git folder, okay,
Mm-hmm.
on your repository, and then you can go inside the hooks and then create a file called using a touch command. You can create a file using pre-commit and then execute some bash script like echo command, echo running tests or whatever. You don't need to apply
Mm-hmm.
npm tests. If you have your project related npm node package manager, then you execute that. But this is just for showing you how the hooks works behind the scene. Okay, in order to commit something before committing, also it works like this. Okay,
No,
pre-push
it
commit
should
message.
be interview based because if they ask something, so that we can able to explain.
That is what I'm saying you everything on an interview standpoint only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now hooks and workflows though you will be seeing practically on push event, on schedule event, all those things will be seen from the GitHub Actions workflows. Okay, hooks is like you can practice it with by creating a pre-commit file, pre-push file, commit message files. Okay, so just in a theory standpoint, if you understand what hooks does, then as I have included every step here. Git hooks. You try to practice this. If you don't get it, you can just ping me. Then we can practice that as well. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
So coming back to the protection rules, yeah, I missed it. Branch protection rules. This is most important because everybody in the interview they will ask, how do you protect your branch? Okay, nobody directly commit the changes onto your main branch, right? So being a DevOps engineer, you need to handle that. So how do you, what kind of changes will be pushed onto which branch? So that is where you create a branch rule, branch protection rule, and once the branch protection rule is saved, then let's say if I'm trying to push some changes onto the main which will not allow me, let me show you that in example now. 71174. Okay, now I have set the branch protection rule to directly not to commit any kind of changes, right? So what I will do is I will go back to the main branch. Just I will switch to the main. Okay, now I went to the main branch. I use some changes, gibberish again, and now I will commit. I'll do git status, git add, git commit. Okay, change something, and then if I do git push, do you think it works? What do you think? You can see that remote has rejected because repository rule violations found. So this
Relations.
is what the expected behavior. We want that behavior, right? Nobody should directly push some changes onto the main branch. Now I'm trying to push the gibberish change onto the main branch, but as I set a branch protection rule, change must be made through a pull request. You see a clear message, right? So what happens is now, if you think that my change is really important, I will create a feature branch. I will make the necessary changes. I will push that feature branch onto the remote repository, and in the remote repository I create a pull request. Code review happens, and once everything looks good, then I can merge onto the main branch. That is the process, standard process you have to follow. So now if you do 10 times also git push, nothing will work because the rule was established there. It is protecting the main branch. Nobody can directly push the changes onto the main branch until and unless you create a pull request and asking someone to review. Everything is reviewed, then you can merge it. Clear?
Okay.
Any questions on the branch protection?
No, no.
Okay, so now what you guys do is today you head over to this website, okay, learning it branching. Just 1 second, let me refresh this page. Yeah, so here there are different levels. Okay, so 1 2 3 4, let's you complete all these levels in a clear way from 1 to at least up to 5 to 6 levels you completed, which will give you a nice representation on the right side what are the changes that you are doing. So whenever you commit something, execute git commit message here, it will pop up with a display that commit was happened. Okay, for example, let me show you one scenario here. Okay, so now you can see, let's see what this looks like in practice. On the right we have visualization of a Git repository. So this is a Git repository, think of it like, okay, there are two commits right now. The first initial commit is C0, okay, and the one commit after that is C1. That might have some meaningful changes. Okay, now if I do git commit again, see that it has created a new commit and the main is pointing to the latest tip of the commit. Got the idea, right?
Okay. But what about the CL through CLI? If we,
Git add command and git commit command, it's exactly
okay,
same, exactly same. Okay, now you can see, now if you move your mouse here on the right side, okay, always try to if you wanted to practice any kind of question they give, try to move your mouse onto the right side. They will show you the goal to reach. Okay, what is the goal right now? C0 C1 is the currently it is available, but our goal is to have two more commits, C2 and C3, right? So now what I can do is, on the left side I can do git commit once. Now C2 is reached. Now we wanted to get one more commit. So if I do again git commit from the CLI, then three commits. The goal is reached. Clear?
yeah,
Now similarly, let's see another example. Um Now you can see that git branches. Okay, branches in git are incredibly lightweight, and you read some theory here. Okay, which will give you some more idea. And then now you can see C0 C1. Right now the main is pointing to the C1 commit. Let's see what branches looks like in practice. Here we will create a new branch named new image. So how do we execute the command? Git branch with a new name, a new image name, the branch name, right? So the moment you do that, now you can see that new image has been created. The branch has been created, but it was not checked in, right? The asterisk symbol is currently pointing to main. That means right now still you are in the main branch. Though you created a new image branch, you are not checked in there. So in order to check in, first of all, let's make some commits. Now you can see that the commit has been made. The main is pointing to C2, but new images still exist here only. So what we can do is git checkout to the new image, and then we do a git commit. Okay, now so if you read this content and practice it, you will understand. I'm just going a little bit faster, but read carefully the content here and then execute those commands. Okay, now in this case also, if you scroll to the right, you can see that this is our goal to reach. That means right now it is pointing to main, but we wanted to check out to the bug fix. So the asterisk symbol should be on bug fix. So what I can do is git checkout I can be bug fix. Okay, if I do that, then the same goal has reached and it's solved. Clear, right? You got the idea, right? At least.
yes.
Yeah, so try to practice that. Once you understand that, you will be a little bit more comfortable in creating commits, understanding them in very detail. So whatever the things now you know from yesterday, the concepts of yesterday's and today's concepts are a little bit more advanced, like rebase, cherry pick, and all those. But from a DevOps standpoint, which is more than 100% efficient. Okay, so these are really important, and whatever the things you learn are enough actually. Okay, because these advanced concepts, mostly the developers, once they are working on their own commits and changes, they have hundreds of branches, and then they wanted to track all them, debug them. Then in that case, they will be using it. But for a DevOps standpoint, for the interview standpoint, I told you all these aspects. Okay, so that you can at least explain in the interview what they are doing it. But knowing this is really cool way. Okay, so just learn these concepts. At any point of time you might use it, but not all the features you can use it. Okay, so in the first day session, whatever the commands that I told you, those you should be remembering forever. Okay, even if I ask in the midnight, you should tell that git commit message, git add, git pull, git push, and all those commands.
Okay, Vijay, a small thing. I need to show it to you.
Okay,
I was using a VS Studio code, but I'm not getting that commit. This
1 second.
commit command and all, like which you have showed now only, right?
Yes.
How
So
do I get that?
Yes, now Vijay Git folder is not tracked by Git at all. Okay, you need to track that folder as a Git. Right now, this is just a folder on your system which Git is not tracking. In order to track that, you have to initiate Git init command first of all, right? Yesterday I showed you.
Yeah,
In
it's
a,
already done.
can you
Already initialized.
can you show
Like,
me that Git init command? Reinitialized existing Git repository. Okay, the initialized. Then make some changes in this file.
okay, this one, right?
Yes.
This one.
Add some paragraph tag or whatever it is. Yeah, just add some change.
Title.
Save.
Okay, save right here.
Uh-huh. Okay, now on the left side you can see that there is a branch symbol. Yes, click
Yes.
on that. Now you can see the
Yes.
changes. So
Yeah, yeah.
modified. There are modified, and if you wanted to do plus, that will add it. Commit will do commit message.
Okay, okay, okay.
Got it?
And Anas have installed Git, but this VS Studio Code was unable to identify it. Like it was showing like if you search like Git -7 version,
Mm-hmm.
it's not showing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what happened to his system. Like any idea what
See,
happened?
maybe the installation path while creating the installation path, installing while the installation path has not added into the path, the folder,
May-
maybe in into your environment variables. That may be the issue. But see, I'm not suggesting you to 100% use the VS Code. Okay, VS Code will help you to make the things easy. Okay, but in the in the starting beginning of your days, mostly
Mhm.
try to execute the commands. Okay, so once you become very master about all the commands, then for time saving purposes you use VS Code. Okay.
Okay, okay,
So in
okay.
the interviews also they'll ask you the commands. Not if you just say that I use VS Code, then they'll think that you are not really.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
No, for simply I was trying like creating a HTML file and pushing it to the GitHub. I was trying that. Okay, it was working fine.
Sure. Yeah. If you guys still have any problems, you can post the screenshots. You try to install it once again, reinstall it, and then add that. And
Mhm.
if still it is not working, we can see that in the tomorrow session. But
Okay,
that we can try.
okay.
Right. Fine, guys. So I'll be sending these notes to you. Practice with from the website link that I given you. Then try to create branches. Try to create do performing rebase and all those
Mhm.
stuff. Read some stuff on that, and make yourself comfortable on the Git aspects. So with this, we are done with the Git important all the important concepts. Okay. So if somebody asks you in the interview, they will not ask you any other stuff related to Git other than these concepts, because they will ask you branching strategies. They will ask you rebase versus merge versus squash. They might ask you about what is pull request, what is PR review process, code review process. So whatever we discussed only, they'll be asking from the Git standpoint. Okay. So you are a DevOps engineer, not purely developer, but the development stuff you already know it now. Okay.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.